Carles Puyol, a defender who lived for duels, for pain, for chaos. A captain who stared strikers in the eyes and never blinked. And yet, even he admits something that sounds almost impossible. According to Puyol, Messi and Ronaldo didn't just beat defenders. They broke them in two completely different ways. One makes you lose your position, he said. The other makes you lose your belief. Think about that for a second. How can the same ball, the same pitch, the same goal, destroy you psychologically in opposite ways? So today, we're not asking who is greater. We're asking something far more uncomfortable. Which one would you be more afraid to defend? Before we begin, take 1 second. Like the video, share it, and subscribe. Because what you're about to hear is not another recycled Messi versus Ronaldo debate. This is a confession. And it comes from a man who never backed down from anyone. To understand why Carles Puyol's words matter, you have to remember who he was and where he stood. Carles Puyol was not a defender who relied on elegance. He relied on sacrifice, anticipation, and absolute loyalty to the system. He played through pain. He played through chaos. And for more than a decade, he was the final wall between order and collapse. From the inside, he trained every single day with Lionel Messi, watching him destroy defenders in training the same way he did on match day. From the outside, he faced Cristiano Ronaldo at the peak of El Clasico, when one movement could decide an entire season. The numbers tell part of the story. Messi, even at 38, still leads attacking charts with 71 goal contributions in a single season. Not through speed, not through power, but through involvement, touches, passes, decisions. Ronaldo, at his peak, delivered seasons of 55, 60 goals, often with fewer touches, fewer chances, but brutal efficiency. But Puyol is not talking about goals. He's talking about what happens before the goal, before the shot, before the assist, before the mistake. He's talking about the moment when a defender realizes something is slipping away, either his position or his confidence. And that leads us to the first turning point. How did this confession even come out? Carles Puyol didn't make this confession in the heat of rivalry, not after a defeat, not during an El Clasico storm. He said it after everything was over, when the noise had faded, when trophies were already in museums, when pride no longer needed protection. That's what makes it unsettling. In a calm interview reflecting on his career, Puyol was asked a question he had avoided for years. What was harder, facing Messi every day or facing Ronaldo on match day? He didn't answer immediately. And that pause said more than any headline, because for a defender like Puyol, admitting fear is not weakness, it's an autopsy. He didn't talk about tackles, he didn't talk about aerial duels, he talked about mental erosion, about moments when you feel in control and realize too late that you aren't. That's when he drew the line that shocked everyone. Messi makes you lose your position. Ronaldo makes you lose your belief. Not beaten, not outpaced, but undone. Puyol explained that against Messi, defenders often thought they were doing everything right. The line was compact, the distance was correct, the angle was closed, and yet suddenly the structure collapsed, without a clear mistake. Against Ronaldo, it was different. You knew exactly what was coming. The run, the jump, the shot, and still, you felt powerless. One dismantles you without noise, the other stares you down and finishes you. So what did Puyol really mean? To understand that, we have to dissect the first half of the quote. What does it mean to lose your position? When Puyol says Messi makes you lose your position, he's not talking about bad defending. He's talking about something far more disturbing. Against most attackers, defending is a sequence. Step up, hold the line, delay, wait for support. Against Messi, that sequence collapses. Puyol explained that Messi doesn't attack space the way others do. He creates it by manipulating the defender's instincts. You think you're positioned correctly because the danger feels distant. The ball is not near the box. The angle looks harmless. Your body is open, balanced, ready, and that's exactly the problem. Messi doesn't force you to move. He convinces you to move. One touch draws you half a step forward. A feint freezes your hips. A glance to the side pulls your center of gravity away from where it should be. And suddenly, you're still standing. But you're no longer defending anything. Puyol said the most dangerous thing about Messi was not the dribble. It was the timing. Messi waits for the exact moment when the defender feels safe. Not panicked, not rushed. Safe. That's when the pass comes. That's when the acceleration happens. That's when the line breaks. And here's the cruel part. When you review the footage, you don't see a clear error. No reckless tackle, no obvious misstep. Just a defender who was perfectly positioned for a situation that no longer existed. That's why Puyol said Messi makes you lose your position. Because he doesn't beat the man first. He beats the structure. He forces defenders to abandon their zones without realizing it. And once the zone is gone, the defender follows. Quietly, silently, inevitably. But if Messi dismantles your structure without noise, Ronaldo does something far more brutal. He looks you in the eye and attacks your certainty. If Messi erases your position quietly, Ronaldo attacks something deeper. Your certainty. Puyol explained that defending against Ronaldo is not confusing. It's terrifying in a very precise way. You know what's coming. The run from the blind side, the explosion over 5 meters, the jump that feels physically impossible, the shot that doesn't need space. There is no illusion here, no deception, only confrontation. And that's exactly why Ronaldo is so destructive to defenders. Because even when you do everything right, when your body is aligned, when the distance is correct, when the cross seems harmless, you feel something break inside. Belief. Belief that good positioning is enough. Belief that timing will save you. Belief that effort can compensate. Puyol described moments where defenders reacted perfectly and still lost. Ronaldo rose higher, shot faster, finished earlier than expected. And after that happens once, something changes. You start defending not to win, but to survive. You drop half a step deeper. You hesitate before challenging. You jump not to dominate, but to limit damage. And that hesitation is everything. Ronaldo feeds on it. He doesn't need you to make a mistake. He waits for you to doubt. That's why Puyol said Ronaldo makes you lose belief. Because once a defender stops trusting his own decisions, the duel is already over. Messi disarms you without warning. Ronaldo overpowers you with inevitability. One destroys your sense of space. The other destroys your sense of control. And that raises a haunting question. Which is worse for a defender? To be wrong without knowing it, or to be right and still helpless? To answer that, we have to step back and look at what this means in the larger history of football. When Carles Puyol draws this distinction, he's not just comparing two players. He's describing two eras of fear. Historically, great attackers terrified defenders in similar ways. Some overwhelmed you physically. Others outsmarted you technically. But Messi and Ronaldo split that terror into two different psychological dimensions. Before Messi, losing your position usually meant you made a mistake. A bad step, a late tackle, a lapse in concentration. Messi changed that logic. He made defenders question the concept of error itself. You could do everything by the book and still be wrong. That forced an evolution. Defensive lines dropped deeper, midfields collapsed faster. Entire teams defended zones not because they were dangerous, but because Messi might make them dangerous. Ronaldo triggered a different evolution. He forced defenders to become cautious, not tactical. Fullbacks stopped overlapping. Center backs prioritized cover over confrontation. Crosses were treated like penalties. Because Ronaldo proved one brutal truth. Sometimes defending well is not enough. And this is where Puyol's confession becomes bigger than nostalgia. He's saying that Messi and Ronaldo didn't just dominate matches. They reshaped defensive behavior across Europe. One through control, one through inevitability, and that's why the Messi-Ronaldo debate never ends. Because you're not choosing between two players, you're choosing between two nightmares, the silent one and the inevitable one. So when people ask Puyol who was harder to face, his answer isn't a name, it's a feeling. Messi makes you disappear without realizing it. Ronaldo makes you feel powerless while fully aware. And that leads us to the final question, not for Puyol, but for you. There is something even deeper hidden inside Puyol's confession, something that goes beyond Messi and Ronaldo themselves. When a defender of his stature speaks about losing position and losing belief, he is describing two different ways football attacks the human brain. Messi represents uncertainty. Ronaldo represents inevitability. Against Messi, Puyol explained, the hardest part was not reacting, it was deciding. Do you step out or hold the line? Do you follow him or pass him on? Do you trust your instinct or the system? Messi punishes hesitation that lasts a fraction of a second, not with force, but with consequence. That is why teams facing Messi often looked organized, until they suddenly weren't. The collapse was not loud, it was surgical. Ronaldo, on the other hand, removed the illusion of choice. Against him, defenders didn't ask, what should I do? They asked, can I survive this? Because Ronaldo attacked space vertically, relentlessly, and with total commitment. He didn't want confusion. He wanted confrontation. Puyol admitted that after facing Ronaldo a few times, defenders subconsciously changed behavior. They stopped anticipating. They started reacting. And an elite football reaction is already defeat. This is why Puyol's words matter so much today. Modern defenders are faster, stronger, more tactically educated than ever. And yet, no one truly replaced Messi's manipulation of space. No one truly replicated Ronaldo's ability to weaponize belief itself. Young stars may imitate the dribble. Others may copy the movement in the box. But very few players attack defenders psychologically. And that is the real legacy Puyol is pointing to. Messi taught football how fragile structure can be. Ronaldo taught football how fragile confidence is. That's why their impact still echoes even as time moves forward. And that brings us to the final reflection. Carles Puyol didn't settle the debate. He made it deeper because when a defender talks about fear, he's not talking about losing a match. He's talking about losing control over your own decisions. Messi makes you question reality. Ronaldo makes you confront it. One dismantles you while you think you're safe. The other overwhelms you while you know exactly what's happening. And maybe that's why football has never seen anything like this rivalry before, and may never see it again. Two players, two forms of dominance, two different ways of breaking the strongest minds in the game. So when people argue about numbers, trophies, or Ballon d'Or, they miss the most important truth. Ask the defenders. Ask the ones who had to suffer. Ask Carles Puyol. And now we ask you. If you were standing there, back to goal, heart racing, stadium shaking, who would you rather face? The man who makes you disappear without a sound? Or the man who makes you feel helpless while fully aware? Write your answer in the comments. Like the video if this confession made you see the debate differently. Subscribe. Because in football, the most powerful stories always come from those who had to defend. Carles Puyol didn't choose a winner, and maybe that's the most honest answer of all. Because his confession isn't about trophies, numbers, or headlines. It's about fear, the kind that lives inside a defender's mind. Messi takes something from you quietly. Your position, your structure, your certainty. Ronaldo takes something else. Your belief that effort is enough. Your confidence that you can survive the duel. One makes you lose without realizing it. The other makes you lose while fully awake. So now the question belongs to you. As a defender, which would you fear more? The opponent who erases you in silence, or the one who breaks you face to face? Tell us in the comments. Like the video, share it with someone who still argues Messi versus Ronaldo, and subscribe, because the next confession might change the debate again.